Hello, guys. It is time to get the party started. So, I am super pumped to be doing this Facebook Live with my guest speaker, Saudi Almonte. Um, she's someone that I've looked up to for years since I first started this journey. So, it's like crazy to even think that she's going to be doing this call with me, so I'm super excited. Hi Lexi, hey Vicky. All right, I see everybody logging in, so let's get going. Um, so I like to ask this question. If you could bring in an extra, just $500 extra a month, what would that do for your life, for your kids, for your family? Does that mean more self-care time money for you? Does that mean a vacation? Does that mean paying off some debt? Like, if you just had an extra 500, I'm not even gonna go too big right now. Just an extra 500. What would you use that for right now? Okay. And excuse me, I have a little 1 year old, Jalen, for those of you guys that know him, and he is right here. He's gonna be making a lot of noise, so hopefully the moms in here are okay with that and everybody in here. Okay, so I definitely have to start at least with the income disclaimer that each coach's income depends on his or her own efforts, diligence, and skill, because we will be talking about income. So I just want to make it known that, this is all on your own efforts and skills and stuff like that. And then remember, so I'm going to be doing a prize giveaway tomorrow. So for anyone that hit going on this event page, you invited 10 people to the event page, and you're watching this live and you comment stay till the end. So the people watching the recording, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for this. But I have some cool prizes for those of you guys doing our new program, Morning Meltdown 100. I bought a couple of these decals that you could stick on your shaker cups. So they say I commit to 100. And then you get to choose whether you want to try some of our pre-workout that I freaking love, that I just chugged right now so I could get hyped for this. And also some recovery protein shake that you can have after your workout. Definitely helps with muscle soreness and it tastes delicious. I'm a chocolate fan. So I have all of these cool goodies for you guys to try out, whoever wins. So definitely just remember to comment here, stay until the end. And keep in mind, you have to get back to the coach who invited you here for more information, because this is just going to be like a part one. Like, this is just how I got started, my story and Saudi's story. So if you want more of the like nuts and bolts of how we actually earn as coaches and stuff like that, we can send you more information on that. And of course, Jalen's going to be whining the whole time that I'm talking, but that's okay. The mom life. Okay, so let's get into it. Like, Wi-Fi and a dream. Seriously, like, you can build a massive income from home with the internet, with Wi-Fi on your phone, if you just leverage it and you use it to inspire and help people instead of just, scrolling on, social media and, just liking all this stuff. And I know you guys see like all of our coaches and all of our team and people in our groups getting results and posting these workouts and these shakes and all this stuff. And you're probably like, what the hell is that? Well, number one, you do not have to be like a personal trainer or this fitness guru to be a coach. Okay. I just want to put that out there. Like, you just have to be somebody that wants to get healthy and fit and wants to help people and willing to share that with others. So a little bit about me. I'm a 2-star diamond coach of the company. I signed up in 2014. I'm a military spouse. I have a 1-year-old, like I said. We live in Texas right now, but I'm a New Yorker at heart. It's funny, I grew up half of my life in New York and half in Las Vegas, right? And basically, like, my husband was the one that introduced me to this whole health and fitness business. When I married him, he was the one that was doing the home workouts that you guys see me doing all the time, drinking a shake and all of that. And I mean, I always wanted to get healthy and fit, don't get me wrong, but like I just was that person that, I don't know, I didn't prioritize it. So, sorry, Jalen is acting crazy right now. He's like spitting everywhere. Anyways, so I always wanted to get healthy and fit, but it was just like, I was going to college full time. I was working full time. Like, I had just got married to Eric, like trying to get used to, being a wife and taking care of your household and stuff. So I kind of put that on the back burner. But once Eric told me, like, yo, you know that you can make an income doing this from home, like part time, like if you just start using the workouts, the products, get results, share it, help people, like you could start making some money. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I think that was the motivation that I needed to get me started. And I know it kind of sounds funny, but sometimes you need an external why or like a motivation or a reason, something else to like get you moving. So for me, it was the opportunity to make an extra income that really like motivated me to work on my own health and fitness goals. So fast forward, I ended up losing like 15 pounds and just getting healthy and fit. And then fast forward more, I had my son a year ago. And, you got to lose. I had to work on the postpartum goals, for myself so I could feel good about myself again. And I lost about 30 to 40 pounds and have helped a lot of people, with their health and fitness goals along the way. And I mean, fast forward to now where I'm at as far as the business goes. I mean, I was going to school for speech pathology, speech therapy when I first started this and working full time. And I mean, I worked this business to the point that now I'm able to make an income from home and be a stay-at-home mom and be there every single day and enjoy all of these milestones with my son. So to me, that's a blessing, especially as a military spouse that, we're going to be moving every 2 to 3 years. So for the military spouses on here, if there is any on here, you guys know your family is going to take a hit when it comes to the income, because either you have to restart your whole career. You can't like climb the ladder at a corporate job like a normal person would, because you're moving every 2 to 3 years. So that was another thing I had to think about. Like, damn, like how can I build something solid that can go with me everywhere I go? So that's in a nutshell my story about like why and how I became a coach and what it's done for me. But I really, really am excited to bring on my my guest speaker, Saudi Almonte. Like I said in the beginning, like she's somebody that I look up to personally in this business, and it's like an honor that she's gonna be doing this with me today, and you guys get to hear her amazing story. So before I bring her on, she's a New York City girl like myself, Dominicana too. I'm half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, but she's Dominicana too. She's a mother, she's a wife. She's the co-founder of Team Eagle, the first 15-star diamond team in New York City, 4-time elite team, Million Club member. Saudi Almonte, she's amazing in this business. So let me just bring her on, guys, and then we could get going. I know that she sent me. There she goes. Invite. Okay, let's hope this works. Sometimes we having the little technical difficulties, but I sent her the invite. Let me see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little story if that was your first time hearing it. And it's cool once you start talking to different coaches in the company and the business. Like, it's awesome to hear the different stories, like where people started and why they decided to do this. It says I can't add her anymore. That's weird. Saudi, can you send me the invite to join so we could hear your story. I don't know why it's not. There it goes. I just don't know why it's telling me sent. Hold on, guys. It just says sent next to your name. Like if I sent you the request, but it's not letting me. I don't know what's going on. Approve. Now I see it. All right. Connecting. We're almost there, guys. Yay, we got it to work. I was getting a little nervous. I was like, damn, we're gonna have to start over.
So crazy.
Can you hear me? Oh no, I think it's like lagging. Can you guys hear her?
I can hear you.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, great.
So hopefully you liked my introduction.
So I had issues. I had issues. I heard half of it, which was amazing. I love
Okay,
hearing I loved hearing your story, and you said so many things that just they go hand in hand with what I'm going to share today.
cool, cool. So let's get going. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and like who you were or what you were doing before you even started this business?
So before Beachbody, I was a full-time working mom. I reside in New York now, but before this, I grew up in New York, in Queens to be specific, but I moved to Florida and I was there for 10 years when this opportunity came into my life. And back then, I was very overweight. I was 100 pounds overweight, very depressed. I think moving to Florida really it just did something to me. Being a New Yorker, my husband and I like ballooned, both of us, him gaining 60 pounds, me gaining 100 pounds. And, we were chasing that American dream. We wanted to buy a home, and we were able to do that, but we also saw ourselves wanting to keep up with the Joneses, and we ended up becoming living paycheck to paycheck. We were in a very difficult financial situation, and I had my back against the wall. And you know when this came into my life, I felt like it was do or die. You know what I'm saying? It was
Mm-hmm.
like I had to do this. Not only did I need to lose the weight, but I'm one of those rare stories, Samantha, you're gonna like be surprised. Not too many people start this business because of the business. And even though I had to lose 100 pounds, that wasn't my motivation. My motivation was that I could finally use the work ethic that I had to build something that I can do from start to finish.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, my story too, I don't know if it got cut off when you were trying to listen, but that was like what motivated me to do this, the business. Like,
Yeah,
I always wanted to be healthy and fit, and like, I always tried to, but when I found out about the business, that was what really like got me going with the health and fitness. So that's something that I always like to tell people too. Like, if you feel like you're always that person that starts and then quits and starts and quits, like you need to find a stronger why. And I know this is the one thing that has worked for me to stick to my own health and fitness goals the past 5 years. So it's
absolutely.
crazy that we have similar stories, and I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
it's a
that.
I think it's a mom's thing. I'm not gonna say Latina thing because all ethnic, or everybody from all walks of life, I see it all the time. You get accustomed to this stop and go type of attitude, and that was me. I was a former
Hmm.
high school dropout, and starting this business was what gave me like the accountability that I needed to finally do something from start to finish. Like I had never done anything ever from start to finish. Like I couldn't even finish high school. I
Hmm.
got pregnant at the age of 18. I was a rebellious
Wow.
teen. um and it was this platform, to me, the way I saw it, the way it was. And nobody presented it to me this way, guys. Like when I first started this, I've been a coach for 8 years, by the way. I started in December of 2010. I'll have 9 years in December. And like I had this was my platform, my opportunity to lose 100 pounds. But at the same time, I needed to find something that was gonna like really make me stick to it from start to finish. So I started to read very quickly. This was like my first few weeks in the business. I started to read personal development, and I read this book that I always quote, The Compound Effect. And I finally realized that this was my opportunity to finally lose the weight and finally stop being a stop and go, because that's who I was. And a year into coaching, I started to not only lose the weight, it took me a year to lose the weight, but I built a business alongside. And that's why we wanted to come on here live to share, because a lot of people think, oh my God, I have to have these amazing results and I have to do this and I have to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not going to lie. People did not believe in me in the beginning. I was told no. People used to laugh at me, especially my friends and family who saw me. I was obese my whole life. I was overweight my entire life. And so that pushed me even more, right? Samantha, like I felt like
Mm-hmm.
it was like I had to make my YouTube video. I had to have a transformation. I had to have, this change, to show
Yeah.
people that I can change.
Yeah, definitely. And we have to share your before and after this
Oh
in
my
the
God,
event page
yes.
so you guys can see how,
Yeah.
like exactly what she's saying, because that's one of the biggest things that I get. Like, oh well, I'm gonna wait till I get that
Yeah.
before and after, and then I'll
No,
start
I mean,
sharing it. I'm like,
yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that, because okay, you guys, now you've heard all these accolades and so many years later, but had I not build that foundation, had I not like dove in head on, did all the training, read all the books, and it's like I saw this as my opportunity to go back to college, to go back to school. I looked at this as if I went and I presented I always say this, my team must think I'm a broken record. I always say I made pretend that I took out $100,000 loan and that I had to pay it back every week. And so every week, not only was I sharing my changes, but I was also inviting people to join me in the journey. And little by little, people started believing in me. The more I was told no, the more I learned. I feel like it was practice for me. I feel like
mm-hmm,
it helped me build this career, this thick skin that we all kind of like avoid, because
mm-hmm,
guys, you all, like, everybody knows, and you're gonna be, like, you post something every day, you post something, I'm sure there's somebody that turns their eyes, whether you're in this wellness business or not, whether you're influencing people or not. Like, I remember when I wasn't a coach, I would post on Facebook and sit there and wait for somebody to say something nice and hope that somebody didn't say something bad, right?
mm-hmm.
So it was a win-win for me.
So like it sounds like you just went, like you said, all in from the beginning, but did you have any like doubts and fears of like failure or anything like that? Or were you always just like
Well,
sure?
one of the things that was not one of the things that I was a skeptic. I was a very negative person. I mean, somebody doesn't become 100 pounds overweight and in debt if they're not skeptic, negative, and I didn't trust easily. The person who brought me
Mm-hmm.
into this business was my brother, but believe it or not, I gave him a hard time. I also felt like I was gonna give up, because people, I can, like, how many people out there, start something and automatically in the back of your head, you're like, oh, I know I'm not gonna finish this, or I know I'm gonna quit. I went into this thinking that way, but knowing that that's
Mm-hmm.
not what I wanted, knowing that like what I wanted to take root in building the foundation was that I wanted to finally do something from start to finish. And I kept thinking to myself, Saudi, this is a second chance. This is your second chance to do things right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was a rebellious teen. I was part of the reason why my family was in a difficult financial situation. And I looked at this as, you got to do it, or there's nothing else. And
Mm-hmm.
what else was there out there? Like, I also thought about the fact that I didn't have any friends on Facebook. There was no Instagram back then. There was no nothing. I didn't have any marketing experience. I didn't have any of the things. And then I was a minority woman at that. There wasn't too many, the webinars and everything that I was seeing in this company, which is not like that now. Like, now it's like everybody's like all mixed. It's very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
But back then I was like, oh man, is this even for me? So yeah, I did let the negativity sink in, but I didn't let it, take root in my heart. I was very excited from the beginning. I'm still excited. People who hear me, they don't understand where my excitement comes from, but my excitement comes from the fact that without this, I would be 100 pounds overweight and plus plus. I, love Latin food. I love partying. I love drinking and having a great time. Like, who doesn't like all that stuff? And so if I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a wellness business and I didn't have to live by the example, I would be who I was before. Not that she's gone, because she's still there. I just control her ass. you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
feel
but
you,
that's
man. I feel
listen,
you.
we all have doubts in anything that we do, but we can't let that take root in our heart. I let what was happening take root, and what was happening was that people were actually getting inspired by this crazy Latin girl who was partying all the time and all of a sudden was melting, in front of people's faces on social media very publicly. And yes, it was embarrassing, and I embarrassed my family, embarrassed myself, but at the end of the day, that didn't matter because it wasn't about me anymore, right? The moment you start a journey and you start to change and influence people publicly on social media, it becomes more than just you wanting to lose a couple pounds and look cute, you know?
Yeah. So how about like I know you're a mom and a wife and you were
Yes.
working full time, right? Like when you first started
Yes.
this. And people always gonna hit you with the I don't have time. Like I can't add something else on my plate. So how did you manage to build this successful business, Wi-Fi and a dream? How
So
did you manage to do that?
so first of all, I am a rare breed. My Since I was a kid, I always had a side hustle. Like, I don't know if anybody could relate, like when I was anything that I could do, I would do. Like, I even changed bottles with my grandmother for five. Like, she would give me $5 out of all the bottles that she would go change, and I would like go buy candy with that. Like at 10 years old, like I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. My grandmother used to sell
Wow.
numbers, and I used to go knocking on people's doors and sell numbers, and she'll give me a couple dollars. I used to go to her job with her, and if I can cut thread from the factory where she worked, then she can give me some. Like, I always hustled, right? I had an
Wow,
eBay
that's
store.
awesome.
Yeah, I had an eBay store. I always had multiple jobs. I used to cut out of school to work because I wanted to help my mother. Like, that was my DNA, right? So I didn't start this business to quit my job. I didn't start this business because, like, I don't even like posting about that stuff, but I know that that's the norm now. Everybody wants to work from home and, be financially free and all this stuff, but whatever. That wasn't my dream or my goal, because I worked from the age of 14. But believe it or not, my husband was the one who planted the seed when he saw that we went to our first like a couple months into the business, we had to go do our taxes, and our tax guy was like, "Oh, well, where did all this money come from?" It wasn't a lot. It was like $12,000, but for us, it was a lot because we were living paycheck to paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the things that helped my husband also see this as a business, because although he loved the fact that we were changing our lives, because we both were doing the programs, drinking the shake like your husband and you,
Mm-hmm.
it also did cause a little bit of friction, because like I said, I was obsessed with this and I was doing it, a lot. And I was like, I would
Yeah.
come home from work, and although I had spoken to my husband, I always tell you guys, you gotta speak to your husband, sit him down, talk to him about the time it's gonna take. I asked him for help with the kids, but that doesn't always it doesn't always work that way. So
Yep.
we had to like work through it. And I'm not gonna say that it was all, what do they say, butterflies and roses. It was a hard first year, but
Yeah.
what was happening was unexplainable, because although we were building something, and we were, putting in a lot of time, we were also losing weight and changing lives. And at the end of the day, anytime it got really tough, that's what we would hold on to, right? And we were getting closer because we're working out every day in each other's faces,
Mm-hmm.
and getting sexy, and like, we were becoming a
Yeah.
lot more affectionate with each other. But those, I'm not going to say there's not going to be sleepless nights. I'm not going to say that it's not going to be hard work, but commit to it for a year and go all in for a year. And yeah, you're going to give up, some time on the couch. You're going to give up, like I started watching, like my husband and I binge watched 13 Reasons Why yesterday, but that's not
Mm-hmm.
what our life was 8 years ago. Like, we would not even turn the TV on. It was only Tony Horton and meal prepping. Like that's all that was happening in our houses for, I want to say, for the first 2 years. But it transpired into something so huge and so massive that I would not change a thing. I will say that there's so many easier ways to go about it these days, you know. And so yes, I did eventually leave my job because of that seed that my husband planted, and that happened within a year. And so I always say, don't leave your job until you match. So I matched my salary. I left within a year and a half. I matched my salary within, you know, like 9 months or so. I didn't make a lot of money. So when I say I matched, I wasn't making no six figures.
It cut off for me. Can you guys hear her? It's frozen on my end. Can you guys hear her? Guys? Uh-oh, she got cut off. It was getting so good. Can we bring her back on? Oh my God. That was, oh man, cut off for me too. Dang, guys. No, let's see if we could bring her back on. That was too good. Just for like 5 more minutes. Okay, let's see. I'm adding her back in. Let's see if it. Eric. Re-invite. We lost her. Oh my God, it just got cut off.
Put my phone on airplane mode. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. It was kind of cutting off. I don't know about everyone
Oh
else,
my God, I'm
but the
so
last thing
sorry.
I heard was like that you matched the income.
Within a
Mm-hmm.
year, yeah. So I wasn't making a lot of money because I was working for the school board. I was on a government contract. I was a budget assistant, and I all I made was like maybe $24,000. I didn't even work a full school year. I was on a teacher calendar, and so what I did was I was so scared, you know, to leave my secure job, but I put in a leave of absence. And that leave of absence ended up turning into me not going back, not because um, I didn't want to go back. It actually happened because not only was I already making six figures by then, but I also wasn't going to be given the same position. My position actually got
Mm.
cut. And it's crazy how, you know, it all went about, right? Because I probably would have never left. And here I am all these years later, working from home and loving every single minute of it. And I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that too because I could relate in that sense. Like I have a lot of work ethic, and I never like even thought of the option of like working from home. Like I don't think most of us think that way either, you know? Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, like the same is like similar for me too. Like I was going to college and working, so I was thinking that I already had this plan and this was just something I was like obviously I love the idea of it and helping people and everything. I started making money, but like then I started really realizing the potential of it and I started, you know, looking at the income that I would make once I got that degree and the debt that I would be in with the student loans and then the you
yeah.
know what I'm saying, the lifestyle. I started comparing like the kind of lifestyle I wanted and I was like, okay, like we didn't have kids at the time yet, so I was like, damn, like then it, you know, I just started analyzing all those things too and I was all right, well, this going after this and giving it that time, like you're saying, I'm giving it that 4 or 5 year plan, like the same way I would put the effort in
Absolutely.
college. That's the same way I approach this. um so it's the same thing. Like I never really like grew up saying, oh, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like I talk about that now because that's what I
Yeah.
am now, but I definitely
And you know,
wouldn't.
I did have I did have, you know, that like I did miss, like, so you guys know I already shared that I had my son at 18 years old.
Mhm.
So I pretty much missed out on his whole life, you know. So when this business came into my life, I had my second child. My second child is now, 12 years old. But at the time he was a little guy. He was only like 3, 4 years old, and he was in daycare. He was asthmatic. And what's crazy is that I was so caught up in the matrix of life, and like the fact that my husband and I both had full-time jobs. Like, I didn't even realize that I was called, like, the fact that my son was in daycare was the reason why he was so sick. It wasn't even clicking for me. It wasn't until, I was home with him and I was going through all the things with him, and trying to get him better, because he was on all these steroid medication and on all these things. And that became my driving force, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can really, like, make this my life, where I am here, and I don't have to send him to daycare where he's going to be sick all the time. He got sick less. I was there with him. And then when he started pre-K, the feeling, I even felt awkward. I didn't know what it was like, to bring my kid to school, because my husband would be the one to take my other son to school, because I'd started work at 7 a.m. I used to work for the school board. I was on a teacher schedule. So it's like, it was all so, like, surreal for me, because I didn't even realize everything I was missing out on, And we can have a call just on that, on the beauty of what it is to be a present mom, like, I never even knew that I missed out on so much.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to say, like, is that a lot of people, sorry, I don't know, it was like lagging.
Well, my oldest throws it at my face. Like, he's like, "Oh, you're always there for Jeremy.
Oh
you
my God.
For me."
He's too much. One thing I do want to say too is that a lot of people told me, "Oh my God, Samantha, you're so lucky to be a stay-at-home mom and this life, right?" And I'm like, guys, this is not luck. Like, this was a decision that I decided to make while I was working, while I was going to school. I decided to work on this so that this could be my life one day. So for those of you guys out there, like Saudi was saying, it does take work, but it can be your reality too, So that leads me to Saudi, like, how has this changed your life? Because I know it has impacted your life. And I mean, I know that's another question that you could go on for a couple of minutes, but
oh my God, it's crazy. So, I mean, first of all, like, I keep repeating the fact that I was a former high school dropout, and this was my second chance. That's always going to be the number one thing, that it allowed me to get my shit right, to do something for myself. I always thought that I was going to have to go back to school. I was actually contemplating it before, this came into my life, because I didn't see a future in the job that I had. I didn't see any growth, because there was no room for growth in the field that I was in. And, one of the biggest things is, so because I was a high school dropout and I never went to college, I have this really huge desire for my kids to do all the things that I couldn't ever do. And so, when you opened up, you were talking about that why. Well, my first initial why, after covering the cost of my shake and, having enough money in the bank account to help my husband, instead of, depleting our bank account by having to buy all this crap to lose weight that I was doing before. I also knew that there was no way that my husband and I were going to be able to afford college for my son. We were already living paycheck to paycheck, and with 2 huge car payments and a huge debt. And so affording college for my son was a huge driving force for me, huge. And, not for those who don't know, you're able to franchise yourself. And so my son is already 22 years old. He'll be 23. I'm old. I'm not, I just dated myself. But, I did have him young. So, that was a big driver for me, being able to afford, a little car for him, and for him not to have to struggle the way I had to struggle when I was a kid. I had to work at 14, from the age of 14, because I had to help my mom. My mom was, a single mom. We grew up on public assistance in a 1-bedroom apartment. And so there was not much of possibilities for me growing up. My mom had never even talked about college. Like, it wasn't even like a thing. It was like, when are you going to get a job, And so, like, I never thought that committing to my journey would help me become this disciplined person. I I think I'm most grateful for that because, I realized that I wasn't overweight because of genetics. It was me. It was my commitment. It was my discipline issues. And being able to build a six-figure business requires a lot of discipline and commitment, and it starts with your fitness
Yep.
journey. And that's what led us to get out of debt and pursue being able to buy a home here in New York, which we never thought possible, which is why we were living in Florida. And not only were we able to buy a home, we were able to completely renovate it inside and
Wow.
out, which was a dream of ours. It's a nice corner lot, two-family home that also brings us an income. And we aspire to continuing to buy multiple family homes and create a future for our kids that can make things easier for them.
Wow.
um, we've traveled to places that we've never thought possible. And I will say Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of success. Everything is really based on your work ethic and diligence. And we'll make sure that we put the income disclaimer on this, because we don't want anybody to think that this is a get rich scheme or a gimmick. This is actually requires a lot of work. Because I'm a coach, I've inspired so many women, like thousands of women, and it really brought me to my all-time mission and mission statement, which is, not only to help women see the possibility, but to encourage them to become their boldest self. Like, I'm always talking about be bold for change. Like, that is my tagline, my mission statement, is what I live for. And it was born when I did
Mm-hmm.
P90X, the foundation of my business. And it was because, when I was doing that program, it was hard. My husband and I, we never thought that we could finish that from start to finish. And I had to do it 3 times because I'm do it twice Saudi. And I gave up a lot. I gave up a lot, but every single time I gave up, I got up stronger. And that is why I know that women can do this. And that's why I still do what I do, because every day I wake up with hopes that somebody is going to change and become, believe more in themselves, that they could do it too. Like, if I did this, anybody could do this.
And I'm happy you mentioned that, because I said in the beginning, like, you're someone that I looked up to when I first signed up to be a coach, because, like you said, I saw somebody like myself that I could relate to, and I'm like, damn, if she could do it, then I could do it, you know? And I mean, I thank you
Hmm.
for being an inspiration to us, and to
And I thank you for believing, because it's women like you that have taken this industry to where it's at right now. We're going into international waters, and we have this incredible Latin market that didn't exist before. And so we're no longer the minorities in this
mhm.
company. It's women like you that come into this with a belief and with a drive, and you take all that stuff you have inside and you just go full throttle, and you just never look back. Like, this is just the beginning. We're just starting. I say I've been doing this for 8 years. Like, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Like, this is
I
just the beginning.
definitely feel the same way. So lastly, if you could say one thing to anyone who's like on the fence right now, like, what would it be? Because I know there's a lot of people on here. It says we have 27 people on here. So I know there's some people on here that's like, like, I want to do this, you know?
Well, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like that, what else is there to do? Like, I remember, so I shared that I had an eBay store. I was always hustling. I was always doing something. And I will never forget this. It was before Beachbody. I'm sitting on my computer and I'm on Facebook, as a matter of fact. And I said to my husband, babe, I wish I could get paid for being on Facebook, because people spend a lot of time on Facebook. I didn't even know that this business was going to come into my life. And I said that not knowing, that this was a possibility. Like, I look at people who spend hours on social media and they don't get paid for it, and I just don't get it. Like, why do you even go in there? Like, you could be making a living. I don't understand. And most importantly, making a living, changing your circumstances, and then paying it forward and changing the circumstances. It may sound a little cynical, like, why are you on social media? Well, why not get paid
Mm-hmm.
to be on social media, and why not bless others? Like, there's no like I don't sugarcoat this thing. Like, I get paid to post. I don't look at people's news feed. If I dedicate an hour of my business to connect with my followers and see what they're doing and be mindful of what they're posting, I do that. But I don't waste time. Like, I'm constantly, looking for women like you, Samantha, who believe in the possibility, who wholeheartedly want to not only change themselves but change the lives of other people. Like, time's gonna pass
Mm-hmm.
anyway. Look, I always say, ask yourself this question. If I did what I'm doing now, 30 days from, if I kept doing this for 30 days and 30 days from now, I'm still doing the same thing, like, are you happy with that answer? Like, are you happy with what you're doing and who you are? And if you're not, change it. Like, this is a vehicle to change it. You get healthy, you get fit, you influence people with you influence others through your journey, and you build a business, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's
man.
nothing
It's
else.
so
And you
simple.
know
It is so simple, you know?
absolutely. And there's so many influencers anyway, like, trying to make a dollar wearing people's
Yep.
clothes that you don't
Yep.
even like. You know how many people send me, they send me like, free stuff to wear on social media that I don't believe in, and I could be making a living. Like, I don't believe in that. Like, I believe in changing my life, being healthy and fit, and sharing it with others. I mean, that's
Yep. And there you have it, guys. Saudi Almonte, you did amazing. That was inspirational.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And for anyone who is interested in more info, just reach out to the coach who invited you here. And remember, comment stayed till the end so that I can put your name in the prize drawing for some cool prizes. And tomorrow I'll be sharing the winner. So everyone have a good night and thank you for getting on.
Yay. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.